Assalamu alaikum everyone. In today's video, we'll be discussing the topic electromagnetic waves. So, in O levels physics, the code for O levels physics is 5054. You need to know or memorize 5 properties of electromagnetic waves. Let's look at the properties. Property number 1 is that they all are transverse waves. Property number 2 is that all electromagnetic waves travel with the speed of light, which is 3 into 10 power 8 meter per second. Property number 3 is they can travel in vacuum. Property 4 is they can go under reflection. Property 5 is they can undergo refraction. So these were the 5 properties you need to memorize for the paper. Such questions may come in P1 in MCQ, and they may ask that which property is correct about the electromagnetic waves. And this may come in P2 also, and you would be asked in the part A of the question to write any one or any 2 properties of electromagnetic spectrum. So all the electromagnetic waves can be arranged to form a spectrum, and this is known as electromagnetic spectrum. So we have in total 7 waves. So first one is gamma rays. Then second one is X-ray. Third one is violet, ultraviolet, UV rays. Fourth one is visible light. In visible light, let me zoom it. We have 7 colors of light. First is red color, or I have written it Vibrio. It is the short form to remember this color. V is for violet, I is for indigo, B is for blue, G is for green, Y is for yellow, O is for orange, and R is for red. Then we have infrared, which is 5. Then we have microwaves, which is 6th. And then we have radio waves, which is 7th. So you need to remember these 7 electromagnetic spectrum waves, because questions regarding this usually appear in P1 and P2. Especially in P1, they can ask you that which ray is in between the infrared and ultraviolet. So in between infrared and ultraviolet, we have visible light. This question, that which ray is in between ultraviolet and infrared, usually appears in P1 and also in P2. Then the second thing about these electromagnetic spectrum is that, let me zoom it out, from gamma rays to radio waves, the frequency decreases and the wavelength increases. So the gamma rays have the highest frequency and shortest wavelength. However, the radio waves have the lowest frequency and highest wavelength. To remember these 7 waves, you can remember this using a sentence, and the sentence is that red monkey in when uses X-ray gun. So R for radio waves, red, M for microwaves for monkey, infrared for in, visible light for when, UV rays for uses, X-ray, and gamma rays for gun. So you can remember this using the sentence that red monkey in when uses X-ray gun. And the second thing you need to remember is that gamma rays have highest frequency and shortest wavelength. However, radio waves have lowest frequency and highest wavelength. This question about gamma and radio wave can come in P1 as well as in P2. Then the second thing you should know that force frequency is inversely proportional to the wavelength. What is meant by inversely proportional? Inversely proportional means that when one quantity increases, the other one decreases. If the frequency increases, the wavelength decreases. When the wavelength increases, frequency decreases. So you can see this in the gamma rays that the frequency is highest but the wavelength is shortest. So we identified that the frequency and wavelength relationship is inversely proportional. When one increases, the other one decreases. However, in radio waves, the frequency is lowest and the wavelength is highest. Then you need to know the uses of these 7 electromagnetic spectrum waves. So first one is gamma ray. Its use is to treat medical treatment for to kill the cancer cells, and it is also used to detect the cracks in the metals. So this was use number one. This is the use number two. So there are two uses for gamma rays. You should at least memorize them, or at least remember them, because such questions usually appear in P1 as well as in P2. In P1, the examiner may ask you that four options are given, and one of them is one of them is given, for example, the treatment, medical treatment to kill the cancer cells, and they are asking you to identify the correct use for the gamma rays, or which of the following is the use of the gamma rays. So three options would be wrong and one of them would be correct. So one of them which would be correct would be one of those, that medical treatment to kill cancer cells or used to detect the cracks in metal. Then second one is X-ray. X-ray is used in medical scanning. In bones, X-ray give white image, and in flash, X-ray gives black image. So you need to remember these two things, that in bones, X-ray give white image, and in flash it gives black image. Then it detect the cracks in the metal. X-ray is also used to detect the cracks in the metal. So this was the second use of X-ray. Then we have ultraviolet rays. So ultraviolet rays are used in three used for three things. First one is in sunbed, second is sterilization, and third is fake currency note detection. So usually the question of sunbed comes in P1, and they ask that four options are given. One of them is the sunbed and three are the other one. And they ask that identify the correct one, or which of the following is the correct use of ultraviolet rays. So sunbed is the correct answer. You need to memorize them or keep them in mind because they may appear in question in paper 1 and 2. And then we have visible light. It is used in optic cables. So this is the only, you can say, the one use of visible light in prism translators. And you need to remember that they are used in optic cables. Because I a question like can come in P1 that uh, which ray is used in the optic cable. So four options would be given and one of them would be visible light. So the visible light option is correct. Then we have infrared radiations. So there are three uses of infrared radiation. First is used in electrical appliances for heating and cooking. Second is TV remote controls, and third is the security alarms. Then we have microwaves. So microwaves are used in micro ovens and satellite communication. And then we have radio waves. They are used in FM radio. So this was all about the electromagnetic spectrum. I hope you understood it. Thank you.